Hello, my friends. How's everybody today? Did you have a good Easter? Did you eat too many bunnies? And by bunnies, I mean, the chocolate kind, not the real kind. Because that wouldn't be very nice. So here I am, just trying to get set up, hoping that I'm showing up. Is there anybody out there? Hello? Is Kathy Jo out there? I'm not seeing any. Oh, there we go. I just got notification that I'm live. Yay! Hi, Kathy Jo! Yes, this is showing up. Yeah, so I hope everybody had a good Easter and that the spring weather has come and everything is going well for you. The gardens are blooming and everybody in your life is good. So while I'm waiting here for some people to show up, I'll just remind you about Quietfire Creations and that we have this blog and there's usually 4 posts a week. And you can check over there for inspiration. There's also Quietfire Digital, and that's a Wednesday post. And sometimes there's other posts. And that's all my designs. The designers use my digital products like the fonts and the digital cutting files and boxes. And you can check those out over there. And of course, you can find me here on the Quietfire Design page. And we have the Suzanne Cannon fan group page. And that is where you can join up and share your artwork that you've done using Quietfire products. And it can be any of them. It can be digital, or it can be the dies or the rubber stamps or anything you're creating with. And I'd love to see them because everybody always has a different take on it and they put things together differently, and it's really exciting to see what happens. And you should especially chime in on Sundays because we have now Sundays Show Me. So share, and it doesn't have to be a finished project, but just take a little snap with your phone and stick it online and share with us what you're working on. And we have a few things that come up on that. Everybody's still being kind of shy about it, but don't be shy. We'll all hop in and say, yay, thanks for sharing, and this is awesome. You can also sign up for the newsletter. I should be sending one out tomorrow, and you can sign up for the newsletter on the Quietfire Design homepage. And there's also a new category on the Quietfire site, and that's called Letters Live. And it's products that I carry on my site that I've used in these broadcasts. So check those out. And I'm here every Thursday at 4 p.m. That's Pacific time. And I am trying to get, and I've got quite a few of them archived, these broadcasts. I've gotten them archived on my YouTube channel. And happy Thursday, Judy. Thanks for joining us. And thanks, Kathy Jo, for putting up all those links. And she's hanging off the east side of the continent over in the Halifax area, sharing links for me. And we hope she's feeling better because she's been kind of sad the last day or so. So we wish her well and back up and creating real soon. And thanks for doing this. Okay, so what we're using today, I've said welcome. Last week's welcome, I'm using that. So let's get this out of here and I'll show you what we're doing today. And we're going to make this card. So nice, bright, hot colors. Really love this. Whoever receives this and they put it up on their mantle or wherever, nobody's going to miss this. Now, this could be for somebody that is moving on to a new job, has graduated. It'd be a good graduation card. It could be a baby card, but probably not in these colors. It depends on the mother. But if you did the same card in pastels, it would be lovely. And anybody would be happy to receive that. Hi, Robin. I see you there. So what are we using today for this? Well, I think you can probably guess. So we're using the Congratulations die from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And it looks like that, of course. And we're also using the Butterflies and Stars spray. And butterflies, stars, we're using the butterfly side. So they look like this. So they're two separate dies, so you can get lots of mileage out of these. Now these sprays are, this is the other spray set that's in die form. It's the Hearts and Paw Prints, very popular. Now these were originally designed as stencils and they sold out. So we sort of went, well, why don't we put these in as dies? And that's kind of a really good idea because the dies are really flexible in that there's so much more you can do with those over a stencil. There's lots you can do with stencils, don't get me wrong. You just have to follow some stencilers to figure that out. But with the die, and there you have the die, you can put that on a piece of cardstock and punch through, and then you can put some decorative paper underneath. And I think Kathy Jo has a link from a card that Wanda did a while ago. And here's another one that Wanda did a while ago, and you can see where she's used the spray. Now, I designed the spray to go across the top of the Away with Words dies like this, but Wanda has taken it a step farther and turned it into a sundial, is what I thought of, but not really. You can see she's put some mirrored cardstock under there. Gorgeous. So that's something you can do with the die that you can't, well, you could do it with a stencil. It'd just be a bit more challenging. So this is actually on a blog post. Oh, now I can't remember. It might be on the Elizabeth Craft Designs blog. And I'm not sure now, but it's on Pinterest. So that's one thing. The other thing about using it as a die that you wouldn't as a stencil is you get all these, as Robin says, confetti. You'll get baby butterflies. And if you did that in white, you could color them all different colors. And I'm surprised Wanda didn't use those. She usually makes use of the dropouts. This is where it's good to have dropouts in the house. And if you've got children, you don't want to drop out. So you've got that option. And then, of course, you've got the option of turning the die into a stencil. And that's what we're going to do today in a minute. So let's put that aside for right now and put that out of the way. And I'll talk about most of the other things, I think, in a few minutes, except for the paper. And what I've used today is these really hot colors from Elizabeth Craft Design, and they're the soft finish cardstock. And whoa, is that blowing the video out? And there's 3 colors here, really bright. So this is going to be the rosebud, this is going to be the ladybug red, and then this is going to be the sunflower. And I chose those. And I've chosen distress inks that went together pretty darn well with those. And I'll tell you what those are in a little bit. Okay. The other thing important is that we're using is Write-On transparency film. And these are just, I picked them up at Staples. And you can probably use any kind of transparency. I kind of like these because I don't think there is anything on the acetate or whatever they're made out of. Whereas the inkjet and the laser, I think, have a coating. Certainly the inkjet seem to have a coating, and these don't seem to have that coating. So, and I bought 100 because, well, why not? I'll eventually use them, right? Now, a little bit of a warning I want to give you about cutting stencils is the transparencies work well. Here, let me put that over there for a minute. Hopefully that's still on camera. And I'll show you what you're going to do. I'll show you my transparency. Oh, yes, I need some dark paper here so you can see it. Hopefully you can see it. There's the transparency. And I just took the die, put it right in the middle. This is half a sheet of a transparency. I put it in the middle of that, and I ran it through the die cutting machine, and I got a stencil. Yay! How cool is that? So there's 3 ways to use these dies, and the stencil is just one of them. So the warning that I had for you was I thought I'd be clever, and I have some of these colored file folders, and so I thought I'd try that. And I did it twice because I thought, oh no, there must be something wrong here. This should cut. But I think they're so plasticky that they just bend, and they don't actually, I don't think one of these little things, and they're not thick, not one of them's cut out. So let that be a horrible warning to you. Don't do what Suzanne did. So, but transparencies work just fine. So can you see that all right? There we go. Hopefully. Okay, so horrible warning. What's the next step? Let's stencil. Because we already made the stencil. Do you want me to go over what you can do with stencils again? You can cut through them into a piece of cardstock and then back the piece of cardstock with a complementary colored paper. You can use all the dropouts, and you can cut stencils with them. And that's what I did here. So now, I said I used a half sheet of transparency. You might want to trim that a little bit. Oh, the other thing I should tell you, you can make these stencils out of other things. Like if you wanted to use paste, you might want to use something thicker, like a cereal box. I hear people use cereal boxes. The only thing with using paper as a stencil is that it will not stand up as well as this will, especially if it's something wet. It'll get soggy and mushy. So I'm just going to place this here because this is the angle. I could place it like that, but I think I'm going to have it arc up like that. And now I used just Scotch removable tape. I use that all the time and love it. And but you could also use like not masking tape, washi tape. The only thing, you just have to be careful of the surface that you're putting on and know that it's going to come off. You can take regular tape and stick it on your clothing and put fuzz on the tape, and that will take some of the strong tack off it. Just a few options there. Okay, so what I decided to do for this is use Distress ink, and I used Pick Raspberry, Abandoned Coral, and Wild Honey. So, and over here, this is the Abandoned Coral. So let's start with the Abandoned Coral. And I used regular Distress inks this time, not the oxides. I thought, oh, let's change it up. Let's use the stuff on the bottom. Okay, so let's start over on this side. And I tried it in a bunch of different ways, and I really liked this when it was solid. So you can pounce on a bit, and then you can rub a bit. Now, the other thing I wanted to tell you about that I've discovered recently is the Ranger detail blending tools. So on fine die cuts, and this is a pretty fine stencil, you might want to think about using something like that. And they're just a wooden stick with a little bit of foam at the end, but it lets you get in there and get the little details if you want to. So that's just an option. So I went about halfway across with this, and I left a little bit, we'll do a little tiny bit right there. And then I went to the next hot color because they blend really nicely, these two. This is the picked raspberry. And we're kind of going from red to orange. And I just used plain cardstock for this. I didn't use the soft finish cardstock. Okay, and let it blend, let it pounce a little less, get a little less color over on this side, because we're going to do some, we're going to add another color in. We're going to add in that wild honey. You can always go back, oops, wrong pouncer. And here's the wild honey. And just do some quick, and it comes up together really quickly. And see, sometimes if you want to get down in those little things on the end of the wings, it depends on how much detail you're looking for in your creation. The nice thing about leaving a lot of area around the die cut is that you don't have to worry about going off into the cardstock that you're working on and leaving those little edges, those annoying little edges that, come on, fess up, we've all had them. So I'm putting some wild honey on this side, so I'm going from wild honey over into abandoned coral, into picked raspberry, back to the honey. I don't know, do you like that? I think I'd like a little more hotness in there. Okay, let's put that back over there. Go for some more picked raspberry. Why not? Nice and bright. After all, these backgrounds, panels are nice and bright, so let's keep with the bright theme. Okay. Oh, what the heck, huh? All right. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. Let's put this aside because we're basically finished with them. And I just taped that in one corner there. And then we're going to pull that off. Voila! Pretty cool, huh? Oh, little butterflies. Come fly in my direction. Okay, so now, congratulations. I just cut that from the rosebud cardstock and placed it there, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. I just wanted to show you some variations that I had done, and I color blended this on soft finish cardstock and put it here. And yes, I like it, but I like the solid better. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you when you make your own, whether you want to go for the nice, bright, solid color, or whether you want to start blending your words, blending color on your words. Actually, that might grow on me. Decisions. The other thing I tried was, where are you? I tried doing, and this is the Moda Scrap. There's a whole bunch of polka dot papers, and this is the 6x6 polka dot. But I thought the word kind of fell apart with the polka dots on it, at least on white. Now watch this. I think this is so interesting. You put it on black, and there's no mistaking what that is. So boy, it really depends on what goes with what. And you sort of have to test these things out. So I did it in that rose color. And these are the Rio de Janeiro set. And there's the orange, which I thought was kind of not as bright. But a couple of options there. And those papers are all available at Elizabeth Craft Design. Okay, let's go back to this one, and we'll just put, are we having any voting? Do you want, no, we're not going to vote. I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to go back to using this. And this again is the Rosebud soft finish cardstock. And I want that to be right about, I want to make sure it's straight. And this is what I'm doing, is making sure it's straight. If I can get a grip on it here. So I'm just going to put a little dot right here. Just one little dot. Then I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm going to bring in my T-square. Very important tool in my life. And make sure that the card is lined up with the edge of the T-square right here. Is that showing up? Yes. And then you're going to take your pencil between your two fingers, so you're using a really light pressure, and come across. Okay, put those aside. Then we're going to come and we're going to take our congratulations. And I actually didn't get this. This is a little piece of craft thing. Well, actually, I think it's Cucina, the stuff for baking. But I didn't really blend anything on there, so I don't have to worry about it being dirty. And I'm going to take and flip over my Away with Words. And these are my glue dots on the roll. And I'm just going to roll the glue dot in my fingernail, and I'm going to put one behind the S at the end of the word. And this is a really long word. It's a huge long word. So I'm going to put a few. There's the A. Usually where strokes meet is a bit wider. Vertical strokes tend to be wider. So you're going to look for the wide spots, so you can put some glue dots on there. And one more. Yep, just take them and roll them with your fingernail off the release paper, and then pop them on the die cut. And sometimes you might want one up here on a flourish and at the bottom, but let's see how this goes. You can always add them after with a little bit of finesse. So kind of center it, and then put the C down on the baseline. Bring out your inner calligrapher. You're using this pencil line as a baseline for the lettering. And then you're just going to lay down the rest of the word. And don't pull on anything. Now you see right there the N, it's actually not braced. So you could pull that out, but try not to. It'll make me happy. And then press that down. I do with flourishes, I try and brace the word with flourishes so that the ends don't come apart and the L doesn't spread, and you can't manipulate the word, but sometimes it happens. There's just, putting another flourish in there would have been not good design. And so you still got that. Yay, that worked fine. If you want, and I can show you how to do that. Again, your most useful tool is your fingernail. You can actually take a glue dot on your fingernail and just lift up that flourish and stick the glue dot on there and push it down. And then voila, yay. Okay, so you've still got that pencil line on there. This is the Tombow Mono Zero eraser that the Zentanglers like. And it does, oh yeah, right, it should be clean. It's not clean. Oh dear. Well, that was a kind of failed demo, wasn't it? But when it's clean, it does a really good job of getting in these tiny places, and you can erase your baseline. Oh, bad Suzanne. Oh well, goes to show you. Okay, then I'll go back in there a little later. I have a little brush here and brush away the, yes, you can see that little messy part. Gee whiz. I'll go clean it up later. Okay, so there you have it. This was a 4x6 piece of cardstock. And then I'm going to mat it on a, now you know what I did with this? See how the butterflies are only that far down? And there's a big open space under here. Well, I actually went in with this one and I trimmed it a bit. And then what you would do is go trim it first and then make a mat that's about 1/8 of an inch larger all the way around and put it on there. And then put it on a card base. And I thought this would be kind of interesting. I cut a black card base for that. So what do you think? I mean, I often like black, but I don't think it has it. It just doesn't have the, maybe it needs another yellow mat. What do you think? What do you vote for? Black card base, yellow card base. They're both 5 by 7 inches. No thoughts? Nobody's going to stick their neck out and say, no, I think that's really bad, Suzanne. You should go back to what you had. Like the black. All right, Judy. There we go. Well, you see, you have all sorts. Yeah, well, you know, I'm not surprised if you don't like the yellow, because I think yellow, oh, and Kathy Jo likes the yellow. I think it depends on the person, of course, but I think people don't like yellow that much. I'm learning to love yellow, but it depends on the yellow and what it's with. Looks elegant in black, Doris. Thank you for commenting. So those are a couple of options you have. And again, I had the other option of the blended word. We've done that before. And I really do like the polka dot versions. And you could do it on black. It depends on who you're giving it to. If it was a guy, I might go for that. Polka dots on black. Cool. And that's pretty much it. Easy card, goes together quickly. Cut yourself a stencil from the butterfly spray die or the stars die. I have stamps with star quotes on it. The puppy Diana did a beautiful card that was a sympathy card, and it had the spray of paw prints across the top. So the paw prints can be very useful. Yellow gets a bad rap. Yeah, I think we should bring more yellow into our lives, don't you think so? Any questions about this? Do I have anything else to say? Thanks for coming. Join us next week. And if Kathy Jo is feeling better, I think she might be guest designing that week. And everybody loves that because she does different stuff. And don't forget to join us on Quietfire Creations. And join us on the Suzanne Cannon fan group page. And see what's happening there. We're kind of quiet because we're shy. But we're getting better and better all the time. So come and join us and share with us. And no questions, Kathy Jo says, but I do want to say my best friend from home is here. Hi, best friend from home. Okay, well, thanks very much for joining in. We die cut a stencil from the butterfly spray. And you can create a card like Wanda's that has it cut, the die cut through the cardstock, and then a pattern or decorative paper underneath. You can see the shine coming through there. Or you can use the little baby dropouts. So these dies are really versatile. So thanks for dropping in. and we'll see you next week. Happy creating!